Hello and welcome back to another Epic 7 video where today we are going to be using a 283 speed Silk. Unfortunately, she is not 100% crit chance, but it's fine, brother. So first up, we open up with our typical ambitious T1. Listen, I hate to be that guy. This could be another ambitious T1 guide, but without ambitious T1, our plan falls apart. So we second pick Silk. Really, the rest of the draft isn't that important, so I'm gonna skip through. I picked Pavel because I have souls, number 1, and number 2. Speed buff actually increases my Pavel's damage by a lot. So Pavel is 260 speed, add another 30% speed, and I believe through multipliers, that should increase his damage by another 2k. So yeah, it's looking pretty decent. Let's hop in the game. So right off the bat, I'm really surprised that my enemy's DN isn't that fast. I really expected him to speed test with his DN, but we shoot S3 anyways. We somehow landed speed down on the Milim. Okay, listen, Milim is weird here, okay? So we're gonna use Pavel here to, give ourselves attack buff, and then hopefully snipe DN through escort, because, you know, Pavel S3 ignores damage sharing, which is really appreciated, part of the reason why I picked him. And here, listen, I understand we speed down the Milim through Silk, but you know what I don't like is when ambitious T1 gets double resisted by Milim, even though he crit, so we have absolute certainty this man hit. And I think to myself, yo, Milim has speed down, let's push back our CR. Too bad we miss with Ida. In what world does the Earth unit land a debuff? Again, she's 0 effectiveness. We somehow landed a debuff with Silk, but ambitious T1, this man who has 130 effectiveness, gets double resisted. And then the ice unit, the unit designed to hit fire units, misses! Now, I don't know what my enemy was thinking, but I think he just used Milim S1 twice, and he left it at that. He didn't even try bothering with evasion buff, but hey, Silk didn't do much, but trust me, this video will get better as we move along. Next game.
I'll punish you. The blessing of Dunbalaya. Oh no, this was thanks to you.
So over here, my enemy first picks Benimaru, and then I pick Politis Silk. You know, before I just randomly geared Earth Silk, I was thinking, hey, let's make a first pick Politis video. I wanted to see, is it still viable? Is it still doable? You know, with the creation of Karina, Lionheart, and those units, I realized if I pick Politis, my enemy picks, you know, those units we hate so much, and then I pick Ambitious T1, and then I cleave him, maybe Politis is still viable since she'll be a trap. That's literally how I used her back in the day. I would pick Politis, Earth Selene, Briar Witch, Ice T1, Kisei. That is literally how I started climbing. I only had those 5 units 6-starred, and I just went along with it. So here, it's looking pretty standard. Ambitious T1 to counter the Chu, the Lionheart. I picked Ida because souls, and I was really considering Caesarea. Caesarea is pretty risky because of Benimaru's existence. Not much to say about this draft, so let's speed up. So I end up picking Caesarea anyways. My enemy didn't really pick an Edward Elric. I understand ML Zerato is somewhat of a counter, but like, maybe if ML Zerato was 4th pick, I wouldn't have considered Caesarea. And of course, as soon as Caesarea Ida were lined up, my enemy didn't want to give me that. And yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident. Really, all I want is to just damage test Silk. Is she a DPS? Or what is she? Does she exist as a buffer, debuffer? Well, what's the deal? So over here, we just shoot S3. I was really considering just pushing back the ML Cowric. And then I realized here, hold up, this Silk is kinda ungeared. And, you know, I had Politis, enemy had Benimaru. I was just confident I can soul burn Ida. And if anyone lives, or if Benimaru still is alive, I can just soul burn Politis and we're Gucci. You know, part of the reason why this worked is because our team has speed buff. And that's the thing. Maybe you can argue that Landy would be better, and I'll agree with you. Landy kind of outshades Silk in everything. Landy gives a CR push 15%, right? Not much, but it is something. And she also gives the entire team speed down, a speed up. She can reset it, she can proc it multiple times in one battle. And Landy S1 is a self CR push, whereas Silk S1 is a pushback. So there is definitely an RNG factor where Silk is gonna need effectiveness to land speed downs. Silk is gonna need effectiveness to push back with her S1. But, you know, we're still exploring, we're still probing. Let's go to the next match. I'll show you exactly what I mean. So here my enemy first picks Rimuru. I do the same exact thing I did last game. I pick Politis Silk. Now listen, I understand Politis, she's more of a bait unit. I want my enemies to pick certain units so I can pick Ambitious T1 and then, you know, checkmate them in draft that way. And that's the thing, are my enemies gonna play my game? Not really. I really picked Politis just to make sure that Rimuru S2 doesn't end up, you know, pushing the boundaries a little too far. And my enemy picks Eligos. I think, damn, is this guy really fast? What's happening here? I was really scared my enemy ends up outspeeding, so I picked Pavel, because why would you not pick Pavel? My enemy might think Pavel is my fastest unit. Really, the only reason I picked Pavel is maybe I Soulburn S2 and then slap an S1 so Sharklet can push. I really don't want an S1 with my Silk, at least not so early. And, you know, again, I know, this is silver, this is gold. We're not really playing against really high-level players. That's got me thinking, you know, I'm using units no one uses. You know, Ambitious T1, Silk, Pavel has died off, Sharklet, you know. And maybe I just deserve it. Frankly, being honest with you, I think I'm playing against new players who don't have diverse pools. They're kind of sticking with what works. But hey, who am I to judge? So we start the game. You can see my shock. I outsped a Zeo. What? So I use S1, make my Sharklet push, because this is how I'm going to push. Senya will use S2, Politis will do her thing. And then, you know, Politis using her thing will make Caesarea do her thing. You can say, yo, you could have just used Silk S3. No, I was confident I will survive the Rimuru S2. I want the speed buff. I want to debuff my enemy. Sure, this will suicide my Silk, but in the end, she did a lot of damage. She did her job. And we end up cleaving this guy. And this got me thinking, was this just your typical Caesarea cleave? You know, now that I think about it, even if Zeo pushed someone back, he can't push back my Silk. My Silk could have survived the Rimuru anyways. So, god damn. Could Landy have done this? Probably. The thing that bothers me is that Landy just has better base stats in general, you know, because she's a 5-star. Landy gives herself attack. Landy gives herself this, that. But hey, Silk, we picked the W. Go next. Would you look at that? Typical first pick A Ravi. You know, just to answer this guy, I'm gonna try hard, or at least use my typical Ambitious T1 Doom Bunny. I've made many videos using those two in cohesion? I forgot the word! Yeah, as you can see, I am very illiterate. Now, my enemy picks Celilius into my Doom Bunny, which should clue you in how smart these A-Ravi players are. You know, if I see someone pick A-Ravi Celilius, hate the game, not the player. I've reached a point where I give up. These players, no matter what you pick, they play the same. Okay, once a Celilius picker, always a Celilius picker. So here my enemy picks Benimaru. I think to myself, this is looking kind of funny, honestly. I contemplate, well, what am I gonna do? I really want souls to soul burn, and a part of me is scared he'll ban Silk, but who am I kidding? These players don't even know what Silk does, so I just pick Caesarea. expecting fully that Cisaria is gonna get banned. You know, I hate to be that guy, but I really genuinely think some people just forget Silk exists, and for good reason. As I said, hate the game, not the player. Let's go on. Let's go in. I have middle to high expectations. We control this. Now, here's the thing that I may have messed up. So I use Silk S3, and that will push my Ambitious T1. And this is where things get a little freaky. Ambitious T1 is gonna use S3, right? And that's the spooky part. If we don't stun Celilius, if we stun Senya, Apoc, Ravi, then that means if Celilius uses S1, she's guaranteed to bring Benimaru. And this is where things get even trippier. If Benimaru uses S1, my Cisaria can't soul burn S1. So therefore, when Benimaru's turn inevitably comes, he's gonna use S2. And that got me thinking, damn, I'm gonna lose this. But then through some divine intervention, Silk just dual attacks. It's a 3% chance, hey. As I said, hate the game, not the player. The game sensed something was wrong, and hey, I'll take it. So now, we do what we do best at this channel. You'll realize I have a lot of control units, and you know, I can just perma-bomb his units, and that's what ends up happening. Silk pushes back Celilius 10%. Not much, but it is honest work. When we sleep with Doom Bunny, perfect. No 15% this time. Ambitious T1, just, I think I provoke. I do in fact provoke. So I was really hoping that Apoc Ravi will outspeed my Silk, and then, you know, that will cleanse the attack down from my own Silk. But we end up outspeeding anyways. I guess this should clue you in just how fast this Silk is. When you have speed buff, you take a lot of turns. When your enemy has speed down, that's a big difference. One thing I underestimated is, for example, with Lua, she just speed ups the whole team. Or with Landy, she CR pushes her own team and then speeds up herself and her team. But with Silk, by slowing down your opponent and speeding up yourself simultaneously, keep in mind, every time she's hit, she CR pushes herself, which is very risky unless your Silk is built like a truck. I mean, every Silk is built like a truck, but if your Silk is built with 20k HP, sure, maybe you can abuse her S2 mechanic where if she loses focus, she gets a CR push. But that's the thing, I've stated, if you want to reliably speed down your enemy, if you want to reliably push back your enemy with her S1, a lot of things need to align. You need to have effectiveness, or your enemy needs to be low effect res, my bad. And another thing is, you just can't do anything to immunity. But when the stars do align, stuff like this happens, and Lord knows we only won because of a 3%. Who knows, maybe Celilius uses S1, Benimaru attacks, and then Silk outspeeds Benimaru, and then we one-shot Benimaru, because we crit anyway, right? So maybe there was no divine intervention, maybe we just win. And yeah, let's go into the second match, or the last match of this video actually. So here I first pick Politis, and here you're like, Forever Life. You're getting repetitive, you're a one-trick pony. Well, you know, by picking fire, I hope my enemy picks ice. And then when my enemy picks ice, I pick my earth unit. You know, it's kind of like every Violet video. You never see Violet soloing fire units. It's always Violet against this obscure ice unit. It's always Violet against Aurea, Violet against Chu, maybe? Question mark? I haven't seen much of it. It's always Violet versus Ron. It's never Violet against a Fire Charlotte or Violet against Fire Ravi. It just is what it is. So I pick Ambitious T1. Again, I'm a one-trick pony. Hey, Ambitious T1 has proved himself many times that he is the OG. And then my enemy picks Ron as a response to Ambitious T1. I thought about it. I was like, Ron can't do anything. It's probably just a very fast immunity. My enemy wants to counter my ambitious T1 through Ron, and that's actually pretty smart. Well played to my opponent. I think so anyway, because he's clearly not transitioning to cleave. He already has Arwell. He has Last Rider Crow ready, and I'm shuffling through my units. I think, if this is how my enemy wants to play the game, of course he picks Karina, which we all established. Ambitious T1 crushes Karina. You can see me shuffling through my defense break units, but I think no. I don't want my enemy getting no immunity. I don't want my enemy getting any damage mitigation. I don't want him getting barriers. I don't want him getting Shiza. So, we bust out the father-daughter combo. I think, this is an Earth Bazaar game. Why not? So I pick my Earth Bazaar, level 50 of course. Low Mola, just super high speed, Earth Bazaar. It just works. This should be proof that he's OP. Don't believe any tier list telling you he's low tier. He's actually pretty high up there, in my opinion anyways. Now we pick Cerise. If you've watched one of my previous videos, you'll know she's pretty angry. This is a cleave angle in my head. The only reason I pick Cerise is because... Come on. All we need is just one debuff. And it's over. Whether through Bazaar or Ambitious T1, I was really expecting the Ambitious T1 belt. Ambitious T1, what? I was really expecting the Ambitious T1 ban, but no, he makes it through, so... Hey! we pull off this, so Silk we use S3. I think, my enemy just snipes my Bazaar. It is what it is! And I was gonna, formulate a plan. Do I soul burn my Ambitious T1? Do I actually S1 the Karina? What do I do to remove this stun from my Bazaar? Because again, it's not a 1-turn stun, it's 2-turn. I was really starting to panic. My enemy gets RNL, and then, I don't know, maybe because I picked Silk, my enemy took pity on me. He hits Ambitious T1. He gave me the win. I don't know, man. I think Silk is viable because people lose their minds. They're distracted by something. I don't know what, but hey, we soul burn. Enemy has no barriers. Enemy has no escort. Lo and behold, we use the Ambitious T1, and boom, we get a lot of debuffs. We stun. I don't know. Point is, we just get defense break and stun on Karina. That's my real important stuff. I don't care if LR Crow was stunned. I don't care if Winter was stunned. As long as one of 2 debuffs lands on everyone, I don't care. So here, Soul Burn Silk. Damn, that's a lot of damage, considering that's a fire unit. Which... Another one, we just shoot at the Karina. Really loving it. And... this gets me thinking. No attack buff. Imagine if I could get greater attack buff. Wall of Order, that artifact. Sure, it's a low proc rate. But, maybe. There is hope. So, we're not even unlocking the full potential of this damage. Silk, look at that turn cycling. I mean, sure. Maybe Pavel could have done better. Landy could have done better. And that's really all I have. Make your own conclusions. Was Silk good? In my opinion, I'm getting wins by sheer coincidence. My enemies don't know how to play the game. So maybe in Emperor or, maybe in Champion, you can't use Silk. Like, I'll be honest with you, they buffed her. This is the buffed Silk. Never forget, they made it so that her S2 starts CR pushing her. They increased her S3 damage and no EE. They could easily give her more attack through EE. They could easily give her more crit chance through exclusive equipment. They could make her S3 restrict. They could make her S1 maybe actually CR pushback a decent amount, like 15% instead of 10%. They could do so many things with Silk, but she's just left there. I realize that the games I displayed may not actually show you why you should pick Silk over someone like Pavel, Landy, actual Earth Rangers. And By the sheer fact they are 5 stars, by the sheer fact Landy is the same class as Silk, same element as Silk, has better base stats. Landy literally gets stacking attack, literally gets an uncounterable S3, literally gives her team speed buff. She CR pushes herself and her team. It's like, why use Silk? You know, at the very least, a man can dream. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.